I still don't have what it takes. I must train harder. This time, victory is mine. Hadouken! This time, victory is mine. Hadouken! Hadouken! I still don't have what it takes. I must train harder. This time, victory is mine. Hadouken! The answer lies in the heart of battle. Hadouken! Shoryuken! Shoryuken! This time, victory is mine. Hadouken! Hadouken!
Hey everybody, welcome to Will and Drew's Gaming Retrospective. You are listening to episode 119 for the week of March 28th, 2021. I am your host, Drew, and I am joined by the magical man himself, Will. I don't know why you're magical, but there you are.
You know why? It's because I have a gray button-up shirt on, that's why.
Ooh, you are fancy. I am wearing a Star Trek t-shirt, a Nintendo hat to hide the gleam of the light on my baldness, and I am wearing like sweatpants and like brown moccasins with white socks. Nothing matches, man.
Dude, I've got like the nicest outfit on compared to you. This is crazy.
We may have a technical issue here. Dave is saying I have overmodulation on my voice, so let me take a moment to check that out. I was having some issues. A little bit.
Auto-tune. Interesting. Okay.
Stand by.
Let's try this. Is this better? Check. 1, 2, 3. Let me know if that works for you, Dave. Of course, we will edit this out. There were some issues with setting up the stream earlier. We had some technical glitches. I got a new router over the weekend, and I'm pretty sure I unplugged the USB wire to my audio interface when I was setting that up. So that's kind of like why I was like kind of struggling to get on the air before. But it seems like everything's in better shape now. Thanks, guys, for letting us know. Will, how the hell are you?
I'm well, man. I'm laughing because when you told me you had tech issues, I never told you that internally I was just like, well, fucking fix them, dude. Like in my head, I was like, fix them.
I mean, I did. Sort of. Kind of. Shut up. You're not my mom.
I know. And I was like, why am I internally an asshole? But that's what I thought. But yeah, I'm well, man. It's it's a fine Monday. Can't complain too much. Still got some light outside. It's been windy over here in Vernon, Connecticut. And yeah, man, how the hell are you?
I'm doing all right. You know, it's been a busy day. Just getting my hands dirty with some hard drives this morning. I know it sounds kind of nasty, but go with it.
Enterprise hard drives.
Yeah, man. My buddy hooked me up with this like really nice server. It's like an HP ProLiant Generation 8. The thing is so fucking loud that I have to keep it in my basement because if it was in this room, you wouldn't hear me at all on the microphone. All you would hear are the fans. I'm not making this up. This thing sounds like a vortex of computing power. And it's just chilling in the basement. So I spent some time in the basement hooking up some hard drives to it, popping them in, setting them all up. And then I vacuumed.
I wasn't expecting that. This reminds me of Mr. Robot, man. Eventually, you're going to have like a whole server room down there with like a little laptop connected to them.
Yeah, that's my goal.
And you're just going to be like fixing the internet down there.
Well, it's kind of funny that you say that because I actually do have two computers down there. One of them is a regular desktop and it just has hard drives in it. And the other one is that server. And then I have a switch down there, an 8-port switch. And I have an old monitor connected to that server with my portable keyboard. So I was sitting at my workbench, literally with a keyboard, like typing away at this like tiny little monitor.
It's like Lost.
Kind of. Yeah, that's all I got.
Wow. And then you vacuumed.
And then I vacuumed. Yeah, we have fleas, so that's fun.
Did you try the carpet powder? You kind of shake down?
No, but we probably should. I forgot about that. We've been using Frontline for about 2 months now. They're coming up on their third dose in maybe a week and a half. And it's funny because when I told my mom that we had fleas, she's like, I got some Frontline I'll give to you. I'm like, all right. So she hands me 2 boxes, and between the 2 boxes, there's like 8 vials. So that's 4 months of doses for these cats. And I look at the date, like, because there's a prescription from the vet. And I look at the date, and one of them is 2017, and the other is 2013. And I'm like, I don't know if this is going to be good.
Yeah.
But I looked on, if you go to Frontline's website, they'll tell you that they don't expire. Don't worry about it. You can use it. I'm like, all right, well, if Frontline's saying it, then that's good enough for me. Well, so far it hasn't done shit. Honestly, like we have a flea comb that we use on them daily. And
Mhm.
every day between the two cats, we're pulling off anywhere from half a dozen to a dozen fleas.
Wow.
So
This is interesting. I wonder how they got them
no
because
idea.
I know a decent amount about fleas,
Yeah.
and generally it's usually more common in like a very filthy household, which you don't have,
Right.
or if they're outdoor cats.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking with the vet, and the vet's like, well, they could have just hitched a ride on your bag, or really, they could have came in anyway. It's possible they could have just hitched a ride on somebody coming in.
Mm,
And all it takes is one.
that's
And
true.
if it's starts laying eggs and you don't catch it soon enough, it could be a problem. Now, Nikki and I haven't had any bites ourselves.
I was
So
just going to ask.
yeah, I mean, it hasn't been that bad, but I do see the poor cats scratching an awful lot. And we're like, when we comb them, no joke, 3-4 times a day.
Hmm.
And we'll comb them once, we'll get nothing. We'll go back later and we'll take off like a half a dozen of them. It's ridiculous, and the cats have to be like in the right mood for it, because like if they're docile and they're chilling on the windowsill, they're like, oh yeah, comb me, this is great, this is so wonderful. And then if it's nighttime, they're like, I'm gonna bite your fucking hand off.
Uh-huh. You
So
never know, man.
yeah, it's been
What's your plan B?
burn the house down.
Okay. I mean, that's an option.
I mean, yeah, listen, it's better than bed bugs, and we've dealt with that. That is a nightmare. This is an inconvenience. So, yeah.
I mean, if I was in your shoes, I guess the only thing I would do is probably call my vet and just be like, listen, this is what's going on. We have expired frontline. Can you get us the good stuff that's not expired?
Well, I mean, I can
And
go
then
to
probably just go from there.
Walmart and pick it up. It's, like that's not
Sure.
the issue. But like I've called the vet twice now, and they're like, well, you really need to give it 3 months to work, and like they're just like kind of avoiding me. And this is a new vet, so like I'm not having a good time with this right now. You know what I mean? like if I was talking to my old vet, like they would have taken care of this by now. They would have told me to use the
Yeah.
front line, and then they would have been like, all right, well, if that didn't work after the first month, here's something else. Because there's prescriptions that you can get, like a pill will kill the vets, or will kill the vet. No, will kill
Oh,
the
yeah.
fleas. So
Got her thoughts, I guess.
yeah.
Let me ask you this. If you called, say, tomorrow, and you heard in the background before they said, thank you for calling so-and-so, if you heard, it's Drew Koselik again. Thank you for calling. If you heard that, what would you do?
I'd be like, you're fucking right, it's Drew Koselik.
Yeah. Give me Julie. Put Julie on the phone now. I talked to her yesterday. She knew I was calling.
Oh god! Shout out to Epic Outro for the WDGR podcast.
I was not
goodness.
expecting that one, but that's classic Dave for
Oh
you.
my god! Thanks to Epic Outro and Killer Sirach for joining us in the Twitch chat tonight. If you guys want to join us for the fun during our recordings, we're on Twitch every Monday, 6:30 p.m. at twitch.tv/WDGRPodcast. Of course, you can hit up our website, www.wdgrpodcast.com. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at WDGR Podcast. Nintendo Nenjay. I don't know why it's so difficult to say, man, but thank you for tuning in. Glad to have you here, man. Thanks for stopping by. Will, if somebody would like to find you on social media, how can they do so?
SoundCloud.com/Will_Gear.
It's right there on the bottom. And you can find me at ScionStorm on Twitter, which is also right there on the bottom too. So, all that said, let's get the important business out of the way first, right?
Let's roll it out.
We had wonderful turnout for voting for March Madness Final Four. And man, this is tight. There's some crazy shit going down this week, Will.
I'm nervous.
Are you?
I'm nervous.
Well, let's see here. Let me see if I can do this, bring this up. Hopefully all these are in order. So just taking a quick look at the bracket so far here. We are looking at Final Four. It's getting down to the wire. Let me bring up my slideshow controls now. Very interesting podcasting here. So we are looking at Pokemon versus Metal Gear Solid to cover the Northern and Southern Championships. And then on the Eastern and Western, we had Legend of Zelda taking on Metroid. So let's take a look at the first match, shall we? We got Pokemon versus Metal Gear Solid.
Rip off the Band-Aid.
Talk to me, Will. What are you thinking here?
Oh, man, rip it off. Listen. I think this one's pretty simple. Everyone knows that you will no longer have me as a host of this show if Pokemon wins.
You've been threatening me with that for 4 weeks now.
I have, and I'll probably regret it. Like, if Pokemon won and I really did walk away from the show, which would never happen, man, I just, I don't know. It has to win. It just has to win. It must.
Why?
Reasons. Reasons. This is why, dude. I have like $1,000 on this arm.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know you have the Pikachu tattoo on your leg, so you don't get to show that off. But come on,
you
man.
Weren't supposed to tell anyone about that, dude. We talked about this before the show.
Oh shit! All right,
Charmander.
Let's take a look at the results. Metal Gear Solid moving on, 51% to Pokemon's 49%.
Oh my god, and it was close to the nerve, man. The nerve of you voters.
I just don't fucking get how Metal Gear Solid has made it this far. It is such a bullshit franchise by a quackadoo creator.
All right, so you get a pass for saying quackadoo. I'm not even going to be mad at this point.
I mean, it's a great word.
You just put a layer of icing on that insult. And I happen to like icing, so I guess that's the end of that one.
Yeah.
I was about to have a tantrum, dude.
All right. Well, hit me with your tantrum. Let's hear it.
It's gone, man. I like icing.
We got to fill time.
I think we do have to fill time. Listen, man, I don't get the Pokemon thing. I said it for a couple weeks now. I don't get it. Unless you're playing Red on Game Boy Black and White like I did, then don't talk to me.
All right. Well, I'm still not over the fact that this game beat Doom. Like what the fuck, man? Like, seriously, what the fuck? But anyhow, yes, it is insane. This is absolutely insane. All right, moving on.
Look, what's important, Drew, is I can breathe now.
Well,
and my breathing is more important than anything.
You can breathe until next week because the freight train is about to roll all over your ass. Legend of Zelda versus Metroid. Who do you think's taking this one?
This one's tougher. I'm going to say Zelda.
Yeah, as much as I love Metroid, I think it's really not even a question, quite frankly. Let's take a look at the numbers. And yeah, I mean, for me, Metroid is a much better franchise. I prefer those games. But I get Zelda taking the win with 72% of the vote. Metroid sitting at 28%. It makes sense. So,
did you play Ocarina of Time?
I've tried it a couple times, and it hasn't clicked with me. Actually, wait, no, that was Wind Waker. Have I played Ocarina? No.
N64?
No, I haven't. I haven't played most of the Zelda games. I mean, we've talked about that quite a bit. I've kind of struggled to find one that clicks with me, but I've never played Ocarina.
Okay. We'll get there.
Yeah, I mean, I think once I'm done with God of War, I am going to switch over to Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
We'll see how things shake out with that. So, let's take a look at the results here. We got Metal Gear Solid squaring off against Legend of Zelda next week to determine the WDGR March Madness champion.
Now that's a matchup.
This is like Clash of the Titans. Well, it
really is.
It's really Clash of the Titan versus the game that has no right to be a Titan. I mean, if we're being honest.
Oh. Can you imagine that in Super Smash? Wait, isn't Snake in Super Smash?
Yes, he is.
So that matchup is already a thing.
It's already a thing. Yeah.
It's been a thing.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, Nintendo just confirmed Snake is in Smash. I mean, I guess he hides under a box and cowers. That would be my guess.
You bastard. I feel like you planned these puns before the show.
I wish I did, man. I'm just on top of things. I'm highly caffeinated today, so we're gonna go with it. In all
Wait, you said you had decaf coffee.
Oh yeah, I didn't tell you about the 8 cups I drank throughout the day.
Oh my god! Well, you were in the server room.
Yeah, I mean, how do you think I was functioning, man? I'm like, I woke up at 4:30 in the morning. I gotta keep it going. I gotta keep it going, man.
You're like, I don't vacuum without caffeine,
right? I mean, who does?
I guess this guy.
Yeah. I mean, are you even vacuuming, bro?
Touche.
So, Zelda is going to stomp a mud hole in Solid Snake's candy ass next week.
All right, Stone Cold.
Let's take a look at the final brackets for the week here. It's kind of small, kind of tiny, but we have been working our way towards this. I think it's kind of been set in stone from the beginning that Zelda was going to be in the finals. I mean, if you look at some of these numbers, it was a complete shutout in week 1. And it's just been destroying every game in its path ever since. Metal Gear Solid, in all seriousness, for me, has been more surprising. I think the pivotal moment for Metal Gear Solid was the tie against Super Mario Brothers, which it won on a fluke. I mean, either one of those winning would have been a fluke. If you think about it, it's random chance. So the fact that it made it past Mario is just astounding to me. And, here we are.
It's kind of amazing to look at this from like a bird's eye view.
Kind of, I wish I had the time and the energy and the knowledge to make like some like awesome, After Effects animation showing like these games like beating up each other.
Like a drone shot. Like we have drone footage of the brackets.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
I want a drone, man, but I don't want to pay like $3,000 for one.
Yeah, me too. Me neither.
What am I gonna film too? Just like neighborhoods? Like we don't live anywhere cool.
I mean, you have to just go somewhere cool to film something cool.
I know. Everybody that's got one, they live in like LA or the Grand Canyon or something.
Well,
you're like, here's Target.
Yeah. My buddy Danilo brought his drone over to my house once, and we got a great view of Walmart, so that was cool. All right, so that's going to do it for March Madness this week. We'll have the poll up for the finals after the end of the show. Spread the word. Go vote. Retweet. Share. Tell everybody you know that Zelda's the better game and that it should beat the shit out of Metal Gear Solid. That's all I got.
No comment.
But seriously, though, we really appreciate everybody voting. It's been a lot of fun doing this. It's been fascinating to see the results, and it's been an enjoyable experience. Hopefully everybody else is enjoying it, too, and we can do this again next year.
It has been a lot of fun. As much as I said that I don't do sports or brackets, this has been fun.
I appreciate you holding on and going along for the ride, man.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah. Aw. All right.
That's our heartfelt message for the evening.
Oh, goodness. So, what's next on the docket here? What do we got?
Well, you've been playing some God of War still, haven't you?
Yeah. So, I haven't had a chance to put too much time into it, but I've been chugging away at it, and I got to admit, I was kind of at a point where I thought the game was, like, just feeling kind of small, right?
Okay.
There was a... I was in Midgard, and you have that lake that you're in, and there's a couple like side quests in the lake that you can go to, and then I was like, all right, well, is this it? Like, there's a lot of fog, but I don't see any way out of it. Maybe the fog is just a decoy. And then I like magically teleported to another realm, and like I wasn't expecting that. And after being in snow and ice and just very dark gray, and then being teleported to this like lush, vibrant, bright area, it caught me off guard, but it was a nice change of pace, and I think it was it introduced some new layers to the game that I wasn't expecting.
Good.
I just left that area today. So I'm back in Midgard now. I have some cool upgrades. I've been putting some of my XP into Atreus and his bow specifically. I've got that thing kind of juiced up, and it can do some cool shit now. It can make bridges, and it's been fun. I know a lot of people are very high on the combat in the game, and I'm not sure I'm there yet with that. Maybe I'm relying on the axe too much. I throw it a lot, and then I recall it almost immediately. It's very rare that I'll throw the axe and I'll go hand to hand.
Okay.
I am using the shield quite a bit. I enjoy using the shield to deflect and get like a counterattack in. That's been pretty fun. And then like really heavily relying on Atreus and his technique. That's been working out pretty well too, especially now that he's got some strength to his shots. He can stun enemies. He's meleeing them. He's jumping on them, hanging on their backs and shit. That's pretty cool. But like a lot of people talk about how deep the combat is, and I don't know that I've experienced it yet. So maybe you can kind of enlighten me a little bit on like what I'm doing wrong or what I have to look forward to.
I can. Quite easily too, and happily so. So when you go into the menu system, there should be a way to check what moves you have unlocked, and if you have the availability to unlock more. Really soak in that.
Okay.
Soak in that a lot. Explore your options to see what looks cool, and unlock it if you have the ability to do so. And then start using those abilities. And then when it comes to hand in hand or hand to hand, start doing it more. I think that the key there to unleash the combat and really kind of open it up to its capabilities, you want to just explore your options, and you want to try different things, even if it feels like it may not work.
Okay.
So throw the axe, don't recall it right away, use your hands, and just try some different shit. And that's what I had to do, because in the beginning, I was also just doing like a lot of basic movements, and I was getting by just fine with that. But in order to, like I said, really open it up to its full potential, you really do have to explore those menus and use that XP or ability points to unlock more, so you have more move sets. And then you're going to have to go back in and remember how to do them too, because there's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it seems, I don't want to say overwhelming, but like are they runes?
I don't remember.
There's like these things that you can attach to your weapon that will give you different abilities, different combos that you can use. And it's kind of confusing, not so much that like there's all these different choices, but I feel like they're all activated slightly differently. And that's the part I think that's throwing me off the most. I have one that I've been sticking with that's been working fairly well for me. I have not experimented with the other ones because, quite frankly, I'm a little nervous to put the experience points into them if I don't like them. But I also feel like I need to put experience points in them for them to become enjoyable. So kind of figuring all that out. And like one thing that I wish the game did have that I have not experienced yet is some sort of a playground where you can go in and just fight some grunts that don't really challenge you too much, just so that you can get a feel for different weapons, different abilities rather. And so far in my encounters with the game, once you clear an area, that area is dead and those enemies do not return, which admittedly is nice. You don't often get that in a game. But at the same token, I do wish that there was an area that I could go to that would allow me to farm enemies, even if it didn't give me any experience, just to kind of give me like a training area to kind of work on some of those things.
It would be nice if we could sync in our God of War resident expert, Zach.
Yeah.
Because I know that he is aware of a place that you can do that. And maybe some of our listeners here will be able to help us out, whether it's in the chat or post the show. But there is a place, and there might be even more than one place that you can practice those bread and butter combos. But ultimately, that's what you need to do. Find some bread and butter stuff to use, and then mix it up every once in a while with like a shoulder slam or something. And that's what I did. I would spend time in the moveset menus, and I would watch those little quick time clips. and I would be like, that doesn't look so cool, or that doesn't look useful, so I'm not going to waste my points to upgrade to that.
Right.
So just spend time in there, man. I think that's the key, because if you don't, you'll end up using your points for other things, and then you'll never really get past basic move sets, and you want to experience, its full potential. That's my best advice.
Okay. I mean, I have to imagine I just haven't gotten to that point where that playground exists yet, which is fine. If like, I understand there has to be some sort of a reward for getting to a certain point in the game, but a lot of my experience points have really been going to Atreus, and I feel like that's been, the more comfortable I get with utilizing him, the better the experience gets, like those arrows, while they're not necessarily killing enemies, although they do, having them as a distraction technique and having them stun enemies. And now I've even upgraded him so that he has like some sort of a wolf power that attacks. Like, that's pretty fucking badass. And it's cool to see him grow as a character, both, combat wise as well as maturity wise,
It is. Let me ask you this. Have you activated Spartan Rage yet?
Oh yeah.
Okay. That's a lot of fun.
It is fun, but again, maybe it's my fault. It's just been very basic. Like, I either smash the ground, or I punch the guy 4 or 5 times, and then I punch him 4 or 5 times again, and I punch him 4 or 5 times again, and I smash the ground and he's dead. And then hopefully I still have some of that life left, and I turn back around and I start doing it again on the other side. So yeah, man, that's kind of where I'm at.
I think this is kind of similar to last time. You need more time to soak in this.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing. You want to see this as like a bath bomb experience, because that's what, men do. We take baths with bath bombs. But I mean, honestly, that's what makes sense to me with this game is it cool from the jump? Yeah. But does it get cooler the longer you soak? Indeed.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm enjoying it. I don't know that I feel as strongly about the game as you did yet. I mean, I understand that this is going to take some time.
Yes.
But the story has got me. Like, I'm definitely interested in what's going on in the story. There was a part where Kratos stepped away for a bit, and he came back, and Atreus was just furious. Absolutely furious. And I'm being vague for reasons. But, I'm curious to see where that goes. They've kind of touched on it, but not fully acknowledged it yet. And, Atreus has been like just a brat ever since then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Their relationship is amazing. And to watch it unfold, I think you're going to be really impressed with how they react when something happens to one of them. How they react to each other in certain situations is going to be really chill-inducing, quite frankly. And I think that's really going to keep you driven to press forward.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so far so good. So, I have some downtime this week. I'm hoping that I could put some more work into it, and it'd be nice if I could finish it. I don't know how much more time I have to go. It felt like I was getting close to the end, and then all of a sudden I was magically teleported to another land, and now I feel like I'm nowhere near the end.
Yeah, you're probably not. I mean, It took me about 20 to 25 hours to get through that game.
I don't think I don't know. See, like, it's so tough because a lot of times I'll be playing and I'll pause, I'll put the controller down, I'll go do some like adult shit, and then I'll come back to it, and I want to say I have like 10 to 15 hours in already, but
You might.
but it doesn't feel like I'm halfway through the game.
Yeah, it's hard, man. This is a hard one because I don't think there's a clock in the game, correct?
Not that I'm aware of, but
I don't think there is
I haven't
because
really
I think
looked.
I complained about
yeah.
that. Yeah, you're probably not. I'm going to guess that you're probably more like 10 hours in, maybe 11 or something.
Okay. All right. Well,
It's hard to tell.
yeah. Well, I'll continue to provide updates as we go
Yeah.
along and kind of give you the 411 on where I'm sitting with that game.
Probably the best course of action.
Yeah. Let's see here. What else do we have? So there were a couple news topics that you wanted to touch base with, huh?
Yeah, I want to talk more about this this PlayStation Store situation. I know that you brought this up towards the end of the last episode, I believe, and give me kind of an update because I know there's some articles popping up about it, way more, and it's kind of concerning, especially for me, somebody who still owns a PS3, and I like browsing that store for those PS1 classics.
So essentially what has happened is that there was a browser version of the PlayStation Store that allowed people to purchase games for the PS3, the PSP, and the Vita. There were rumors flying around that this is kind of like the next step to them actually shutting down the store for those services. And it seems like there's some credible stuff here. They did an update on the main store last year before the release of the PlayStation 5. And if you go onto that main hub, you can only find games for the PS4 and the PS5. You cannot find games for the PS3, the PSP, or the Vita. But if you had like the original links to the older systems, you could still find those games. Those pages were still live. As of right now, you're still able to go through the device to make your purchases, but there's a strong rumor that the stores are going to be shut down permanently in July. Sony has not spoken out about this. They have not issued any comment. They have not replied to requests from multiple websites on multiple occasions. So, I mean, we're kind of coming around to the age-old discussion of physical versus digital.
Yes.
We have a situation where Sony is making it difficult for people to purchase games for these older consoles. And more importantly, the unanswered question of whether or not those games are still downloadable if you've already purchased them. And, I mean, as a physical collector, I think my stance is pretty clear. This is the sort of situation that I try to avoid, and is the reason that I buy physical games, even when it's detrimental. But I just there are certain systems that are so intrinsically digital based, the Vita being one of them. If you try to buy physical Vita games, they're fucking expensive. The collector's market for that is through the roof right now. And honestly, a lot of the Vita games aren't really my style of game. They tend to be like Japanese anime based and just kind of quirky craziness. It's not for me, but it does have a very strong following, and it's a beautiful system. I mean, the Vita is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. But if you can't get games for it, what good is it, right?
I know.
So now people are, people that would not have hacked their Vita or their PS3 or their PSP previously are now looking into that as an option, because once you hack it, well, there's game preservation sites, emulation sites. You can find those games and you can sideload them onto your system, or even hack it to run other stuff. Like my PSP, I had it hacked and I was able to play Nintendo games on it, Genesis games on it. So, the Sony has always been anti-hacking, anti-piracy, very anti-community, in my opinion. And this is just like one more step in that direction. Meanwhile, not to throw stones, but if you look at the Xbox, they're gung-ho on backwards compatibility. They run sales on those digital games all the time. If you buy a game digitally and it gets delisted, you can still download it. It's still available on their servers. You have to dig to find it, but it's there. And I can boot up either my Xbox One or my Series X in development mode and fucking run RetroArch on it and play all the emulators. And it's an officially supported thing. It's just such an opposite take.
There's really no refuting that. It seems like the best course of action is pretty simple here. If you own a PSP or a PS3, and you buy your games in a digital format, I guess the best course of action is to do it now. If there's anything that you had on like a wish list, buy it now and download it all the way, right? Because if you have it, say, I don't know, maybe I wonder if it's a PS Plus game on the PS3, if they're even still doing that.
I don't know.
And then you don't have it downloaded because your subscription ran out, would you be in trouble then?
Well, I mean, do the PS Plus games continue to work after your subscription expires? I don't think they do.
They don't. So what happens is you have to have the subscription in order to load the game, but you'll still have it. So like it'll be there showing that you had it at one point. You just can't play it unless your subscription is active.
Right. I agree. And real quick from the Twitch chat, Data Dive says Sony should have its first party titles from PS1 to now all available in some capacity. And I agree 100%. It's like the PlayStation, all the PlayStations have had gigantic libraries and a lot of shovelware. So I get that it's not feasible to have every single game. The rights issues are massive. I mean, even Xbox, which has put thousands and thousands of man hours into ensuring backwards compatibility for as many games as possible, like it's just not possible to get the rights to do every single game. So I get that, but your first party titles, yeah. There's no reason that those should not be available in some capacity for download. And you don't need to charge people an arm and a leg. $5 a game. Like if I want to play Twisted Metal 2 on my PS4, I'll pay $5 for that.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? That's a fucking great game.
Yeah, it really seems like Sony is just kind of clearing out the closet, and unless you've got a PS5 in that closet, then you might as well kiss it goodbye.
Pretty much, Epic Outro says he needs to charge up his Vita to make sure he has all the games he will still never get around to playing.
Ain't that the truth?
Amen, brother. Amen. Yeah, man. I just, I know that we've been spoiled with backwards compatibility lately. I know that wasn't always the case. This wall of cartridges behind me is proof of that. But, we're now living in a time where it is not difficult to get games to run on any processor it needs to. And there's no reason that these games should not be available. Sony can market them as classics. They can market them as specials. They can market them however the fuck they want. I guarantee you somebody is going to be out there who has a PS5 and he's saying to himself, man, I wish I still had my PlayStation 1. I wish I could fire up Siphon Filter or the original Resident Evil, whatever. And, that option is not there for him or her unless they get a original system with a scratched up disc from some third-party seller on eBay or Goodwill. Maybe they get lucky at Goodwill, or they go to their local friendly retro shop and they pay an arm and a leg.
That's just it, man. I mean, I love the idea that I can buy Final Fantasy 9 or whatever on the PS3, the PS1 Classic, and then use the internal memory card system. And you just have that ability to do that. I just, to have that taken away, I don't really see the purpose in it. I get that they're kind of cleaning house, but I don't know, man. It's an odd thing.
Dude, like, hard drive space is so cheap, right? So
it is.
To put in perspective, right? A CD. So those PlayStation 1 discs were on compact discs, right? 650 megabytes, I think, was the size.
Not sure.
I'm gonna look this up. This could be great podcasting. I want to say it's 650 megabytes. So, CD storage size. Maximum of. All right, I guess there's some error correction. 847 megabytes for one CD. Okay, that's less than a gig. A DVD can hold roughly around 4.4 gigs, right? I can buy a 14 terabyte hard drive for $150. Do you know how many of those games would fit on a 14 terabyte hard drive?
Oh my God. staggering amount.
For a company like them, it wouldn't even be a drop in the ocean.
Nope. Multi-billion-dollar company.
It makes me so mad.
Yeah, it's like I said, they're cleaning house. I don't really know what reasons they have for doing so. I would imagine that it's just as simple as just, hey, it's not as active anymore when they look at the statistics of people downloading games, and they've got boardroom meetings that are happening, just saying, you know what, close it up.
Yeah,
I want it done by July.
Yeah, these decisions are being made by executives and not people that actually play the games.
Mm-hmm.
And I know him like Xbox rah rah rah, but man, Phil Spencer is fucking knocking it out of the park, and you can tell that dude gives a shit about games.
He does.
So
He does. There isn't really like a personality anymore with Sony, at least that I'm aware of. It's just Sony. It's Sony. It's PlayStation. It's PS5. But who's behind it anymore? There's no figurehead. There's no what's his name, Reggie Fils-Aimé. There isn't that guy. And Sony, I think, needs that. And a lot of people might say it's Shuhei Yoshida or whoever the hell it is, or one of those guys. But PlayStation, I think, needs a person. They need a person that's really behind the brand.
Yeah, I never even thought about that. That's an excellent point. Because Nintendo's got Doug Bowser now, and
I can't believe that's his real last name.
I know it's mind blowing. But like, he hasn't really done much since he's taken over the office that I'm aware of. It's been like Reggie was way more front and center than Doug is, right? But Phil Spencer's out there like, shit. I wonder if like we asked him to be on our podcast if he'd do it, because that guy seems to do interviews left and right, And like, did you know they dropped Octopath Traveler on Game Pass?
I saw that, and that's huge. I mean, I agree with some of the chatter in Discord about how it's kind of meant to be a Switch game, and I get that, but it's nice to see it coming to new formats, because originally I think it was just PC and Switch.
Yeah, it was. And like, they never even announced they were doing it. So to have that like stealth drop, it's like, holy shit, man. Like, that's crazy.
That's a little bit of a stealth dropper, right?
It
because
really
that was a good game. I mean, it wasn't on everybody's radar, but it's one of those games that was on people's sort of backlist radar, where they're like, man, that looked good, and now I can play it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have to worry about getting a Switch anymore. I can just play it on my friggin' Xbox.
I'm tempted
Thanks,
to...
Phil.
I'm tempted to try and start it up again, because I really feel like I picked the wrong character with that game, but it does feel like such a Switch game too, so I don't know. I'm kind of going back and forth, but...
Yeah, it's the cozy RPG under a blanket with a flashlight experience,
Yeah.
With your sleeve of Chips Ahoy.
Killer Sirach says in the chat, I remember when Microsoft shut down Xbox Live and the OG Xbox, a few players kept playing and was able to keep it alive for a little while longer, or so the legend goes. Boy, that is awfully reminiscent about our next topic, isn't it?
It is. It absolutely is.
So let's talk about that. PlayStation Home is somehow still alive.
This really shocked me, man. When we were looking for some topics for the show tonight, I came across this and I was like, all right, first of all, this needs to be a topic. Second of all, how the hell are they doing this? Because they shut this down years ago.
Right.
So I didn't really read into it, but PlayStation Home was a very interesting application. I can say that much.
Yeah. So tell me about your experience with it, because I have not really been involved with that too much,
Sure. So the off the cuff version, from just sheer memory, it launched, I want to say 2000 and let's see, time wise, I'd say 2007, 2008, somewhere around there.
And this is PS3, right?
This is PS3 only.
Wow.
And it was kind of cool, man. It was basically this virtual world where you can walk around with your avatar. Everybody else's avatar is there, and it's just a bunch of people in this environment where you could play bowling, you could shoot pool, and you could meet up with your friends. So you could message them, or you could text them privately and say, hey, man, I'm going to play pool at like 8 o'clock. Do you want to join? And they could join as long as there was room. And there was just like, it was this world where you could like shop for clothes and play games together just in this avatar world. So kind of like The Sims, I guess, but just a little bit more live and interactive. You could create a home for yourself, like an actual like mansion or like a property you could buy and deck it out. And I think sometimes you'd have to use real money to buy more clothes and more furniture and shit, just like anything else. And where it gets kind of funny is I felt like at the time I was the only person that really believed in it, amongst my circle of friends. And I used to badger my friend Mike all the time. I was like, dude, you got to come over to my house. and he would ignore me. He'd be like, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. And like, he never came over. And I still think about it to this day because I was so proud of like the house that I had put together, because I'm pretty sure I might have put some like real money into it.
What?
And no one ever came over. And I ended up just doing a bunch of like weird games with random people, and it was a very odd but very intriguing experience. And it's a shame that it got killed off, because I feel like it could have had the potential to be something very special.
I mean, from my point of view, it just kind of struck me as like a Sims ripoff, but like with you being the Sim instead of you playing as a Sim.
I mean, in a lot of ways, that's true. And I think that if it had come back now, or if it came back, I don't know, the past few years with just this whole interactive virtual social experience world that we live in now, it probably would have been more successful, because back in 2008, social media and just virtual interaction was not at the scale that it's at now. And I think that there's a good possibility that if they revamp this and they do it right, it could really, really take off. Because there were some special qualities about it. And if you watch videos on it, whether it's this one on IGN or on YouTube, it goes pretty in depth.
Okay. Yeah, I skipped around in the video briefly. I didn't spend a lot of time with it, but it seemed interesting. I was just floored that it was still active in the first place, quite honestly.
I'm not even sure if it made it out of a beta stage, because I remember when I was messing around with it, it was in a beta phase. And I really don't recall it ever, really kind of going into a full completed application.
Data Dive actually just compared PS Home to Animal Crossing. That's a interesting way of putting it, and I could see the resemblance there too.
I wouldn't know, because I just don't have any experience with that. But yeah, man, I do have fond memories of PlayStation Home, even though I didn't spend a ton of time in it. I spent enough time to understand what it was all about and what it was trying to do. And I'm pretty sure you could watch movies too. Like, you could actually go to a movie theater, or you could go to the courtyard, and people would be standing around watching game trailers like on a screen that was live in the courtyard.
That's pretty cool.
So it was just a way. I don't know if you remember, this is interesting. Do you remember on the Xbox 360, there was a mode where if you loaded up Netflix, you could go into like a virtual theater with your friends?
Yeah, I definitely remember that. I never actually used it, but I remember it being there and being a little jealous that I never tried it out.
It was amazing. You could sit with your friends, and it was, of course, in avatar format, and you could watch whatever you wanted. You could watch Schitt's Creek, or whatever's popular now on Netflix. And you could watch it with your avatar friends, and you could flick boogers at each other. You had all these like different kind of like animations where if you hit like a certain button, you would do like a little dance, or you would put your arm around your friend's shoulder. There were all these like cool little things, and it was a pretty interesting, intimate way to kind of cap off your evening after a night of Call of Duty. You could just load up Planet Earth and just watch it with a couple buddies in the little theater.
That's really cool. I wish I experienced that.
I don't know why they shut that down or when they did, but I'm pretty sure they pulled the plug on that service. There was no announcement or anything. It just was gone one day.
I wonder if maybe they had some sort of a deal with Netflix that expired, and they just failed to make a public announcement about it.
Probably.
There's a lot of cool things that Xbox has done over the years that people have kind of been clamoring for them to bring back. That's one of them. Another one was the game show, the 1 versus 100 game show. I only played that a few times, but that was a lot of fun. And there's been rumors that might come back. So fingers crossed. I think now is a great time to bring something like that. Yeah, Killer Sirach also talking about 1 versus 100. Yeah, I mean, like, these are the types of things that, especially, you know, in a pandemic world, that we need to kind of bring, I think, to the forefront, you know?
Dude, 100%. If those two features with Xbox and PS Home were relevant last year, oh man, people would have been thriving in those communities.
100% agreed. So, all right, what's next? What else we got here tonight?
Well, you're a fan of limited run games. There's something quite special coming up here.
So about 25 minutes before we went live, I get a text message from Epic Outro, and it's just an Instagram link. And I click
Oh my
it.
God, it's like the bathroom stall all over again.
So he sends me this Instagram link. I click on it, and it's a fucking limited run of Doom 1, 2, and 3, physical edition, coming out. Well, they're beginning the pre-orders on Friday, April 2nd. So just days from now. These fuckers don't even give you enough time to plan ahead. They're just like, yo, get your shit ready, give us your money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here we are. And there's 3 editions of this game that they're doing, okay? And it's going to be available on the Switch, and it's also going to be available on the PS4. No Xbox. Limited Run doesn't do Xbox games. I'm not sure what the reasoning is. I assume some kind of rights issue, but anyway, $30 gets you a copy of the game, all 3 games, right? Doom 1, Doom 2, Doom 3, physical, Switch or PlayStation 4 is the same price. There's no downloading. It comes with a full color manual, comes with reversible cover art. I wish I had time to prep like the little slideshow for this, because I definitely would have brought it up. But it is cool as all hell, man. And then you can increase the price to $79.99 and get their collector's edition. They call it Doom the Classics Collection Special Edition. This one comes with the game, physical, full color manual, reversible cover sheet, a red metal keycard replica, an official Nintendo Switch size steelbook, an 8 gigabyte Doom shareware disk USB drive, but I guess the USB drive itself will be empty. You can a marine helmet PVC keychain, a set of 3 9-inch by 6-inch art prints.
Nice.
And then a reprint of the original 1996 16-page Doom comic book, which was originally sold in the ID anthology box set.
Go Flynn.
Now, I don't know if they called him Flynn in the comics. I'd have to check that out.
Let's just go with it.
Yeah. Now you can up the ante and get the collector's edition. Okay, this is just a special edition. You can get the collector's edition, which includes all those things: a premium die-cut windowed box, a detailed shadow box featuring activated LED lights and sound. When activated, the shadow box plays the iconic E1M1 music. Holy shit, man, I want that.
I was just about to ask, like, what is that?
Okay. When you
know.
When you think of Doom music, this is the music you think of. This is the quintessential music. Oh man.
Dave's in your corner. That's for sure.
Yeah, Dave is the harbinger of bad choices. I'm still waiting on my Doom 64 collector's edition, man. Now I got to come up with $130 for this.
Yeah.
And it's an open...
Well, here's the thing, because if you don't do it, you're not going to be able to sleep.
Oh yeah, of course. No, you're absolutely right. But it's like, I just wish they gave me like a heads up. And
so you could plan.
right. It's like, because like I've been, we budget, and I've been kind of running my budget pretty close every month, since Christmas. And this wipes out most of that budget,
Sure.
So they're doing the pre-orders. It's an open pre-order. They're open until May 2nd, so I don't need to buy it on day one. But, you know,
Well, that's just it, dude. Like when we're 25, $130 doesn't really matter, right? Because you're irresponsible and shit. But when you're an adult and you spend 130, you start sweating a little bit. You get like this like very faint sweat on your forehead when you get into bed at night. And you're like, shit. Shit. Why did I do this? But I'm not going to undo it.
No.
Why did I do it?
Yeah.
I'm going to feel that sting, when the Verizon bill comes through, and I'm like, all right, well, I got enough for that, but barely.
Well, I mean,
what's more important, my phone cell service or Doom? I'm gonna go with Doom.
Well, I mean, to be completely fair, the way we do our budget, like, so this would be like my spending money, right? So we budget out all of our bills first, and then we each get like spending money for the month. So I could use this money towards that, but then I can't buy anything else for the rest of the month. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like, do I want to blow my load on or April 1st? You know what I mean? Like,
that's my problem with sound libraries, man. I'll buy like a couple, and I'm like, shit, that's probably enough for now.
Yeah.
And then I'll find another one. I'm like, God damn it.
Yep.
I can't get it.
Yep.
I mean, I could, but it's going to result in problems. So
exactly. It's like, oh man, I just got my money and gone.
Yeah. Well, Killer Siroc's right. The stimmy money. I can't believe I just said that because
our stimmy money is going towards yard projects, man. I personally do not have stimmy money. We are using it for the house, and I'm okay with that. Like, I'm not complaining about that whatsoever, because we're gonna build a fire pit. We're gonna rehab the garden. We're hopefully buying a shed. So like, shit's happening, and this is all stuff that's gonna make our quality of life better. Totally fine with that. But like, I have expensive hobbies, you have expensive hobbies, and like, man, I'm gonna have to start whoring myself out.
I know. The worst is like when I try to explain to Lauren like how a program is like $400. I'm just like, yeah, I mean it's like $3.99, but like there's no, you can't make it sound any less than $400. You can't do the whole $399.99. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
You can do that when it's $19.99. But when it's $400, I mean, that's just, they like, the reaction's always just like, honey, no.
Well, it's like I was talking about the server earlier in the show, and I'm like, well, man, I'm running out of space. I kind of need some more hard drives. And I could be like, hey, Nikki, I kind of need a couple more hard drives. And she'll be like, well, didn't you just buy hard drives? I'll be like, well, no, that was like a year ago. And to her, it's like, well, how the fuck did you fill that up so quick? Like, this is a woman that doesn't even really use a computer except for work. I'm like, don't worry about it. I just did. Anymore.
Yeah. Dude, tell me you've been there though when you try to like mask the price and you're just
totally.
like, yeah, it's like it's 60, 70, And they're like, wait, what'd you just say? Is it 60 or 70? I mean, it's like 50,
Yeah.
It's 50, plus tax, but tax is tax.
She's the one that handles like the finances for the household. So like, she'll see all those charges come in, and it's like, I really can't butter it up. it's just easier to rip the Band-Aid off and just tell her. It really is.
It's like, hey, if you see that charge, it was me.
Yeah. Epic Outro says you should just tell her it's for an MGS art book.
Oh yeah, that'll go over well.
Oh man,
you should have seen her when she was packing the books. I think I might have mentioned this on the last episode. She was like, honey, like this is like 80 pounds worth of books. And I'm like, yeah.
Was this before or after you told her she had to get rid of all of her stuff?
That's a good point. Well, you know what, dude? I've got a leg up on her because I don't own that much anymore because of my whole minimalist stuff.
Yeah.
So now I can be like, yeah, well, look at all the sacrifices I made. So I get to trump her a lot in that department.
Yeah. All right. Anyway. So if anybody wants...
are you getting it or not?
Fuck yeah, of course I'm getting it. If anybody wants to donate to my fund, hit me up. GoFundMe.com/Drew's Doom Devastation. I don't know. Give me some triple D's here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an important purchase. It's one of those
Really
kind of
is.
things. If you don't have it, you won't be able to live. So
It really is.
hopefully people understand that
Yeah,
and
man.
they'll contribute to a good cause.
I eat, breathe, and sleep Doom. Like, I need it. I just need it, Will.
Tell us about Game Club. What do we got
Oh
going
yeah,
on
so we're bringing back the Game Club. It's for those of you that aren't familiar with this, we tried a video game club, kind of like a book club last year. In October, we played Dead Space, and maybe poor timing in launching it because the PlayStation 5 and the Xboxes were coming out in November. But we it was just me and Joe for Dead Space. but we had a great time playing the game and talking about it as we were playing, and we kind of had some points where we would catch up. Like we used the chapters as markers for discussing the game, spoiler free at that point, up to that point. And when we were playing Dead Space, Joe's wife Bree suggested that we do BioShock Infinite. BioShock Infinite is a game that I have never played. I've owned it for years, and I've always wanted to play it, but it's just been one of those games that I'll get to it when I get to it, right? Well, last week in our mailbag, Bree actually sent in a question and asked us when we were going to do it, and I may or may not have suggested that we do it in April, and then it spawned an entire conversation in our Discord room about how we should do it in April. So we're doing it in April. Which terrifies me because I'm like knee deep in God of War, and you know how things go when I start diverging into more than one game at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you're in a similar position because you're still working on Gravity Rush. So
yes.
So we're gonna try it. My understanding is that the game has 40 chapters, so we're going to try to break it down into 10 chapters a week. I don't know if that's feasible. I haven't done any research on how long this game is, so I don't know if we'll actually be able to finish it in April or if everyone will, but we're going to try. So if you're listening to this and this sounds like a good time to you, the game has been available on Xbox as Games with Gold. If you're an Xbox player and you've been on Xbox Live for years, you may already have a copy of this game. You don't even realize it. If you don't, it's pretty cheap. I'm not sure what the cost is right now, but you could pick it up as part of the BioShock collection, which I've seen on sale for $20 regularly. And you could buy the game individually as well on PlayStation 4, well, you can't buy it on the PS3 anymore, but you can get it for the 360, or I'm sure if you just hit up a GameStop or something, they're going to have a copy real cheap. And yes, it is also on the Switch. I don't know if it's solo on the Switch or just part of the collection, but it is available there as well. So there's plenty.
I was just going to say the idea of completing 10 chapters in 1 week terrifies me.
Well, I get the impression that they're short. I think it's a large number, but its bark is louder than its bite. How long to beat BioShock Infinite? Nope, that's not the site I want. There we go. So how long to beat says the main story is 11 and a half hours.
Oh, thank God.
If you do extras, you're looking at around 15 to 16 hours. If you're a completionist, you're closer to 27. But it doesn't seem like it's that bad. So go ahead.
I was just going to say, interestingly enough, on the conversation of PS3 and stuff, I have to download the game because it was a PS3 PS Plus free game that I got years ago, and I don't have it downloaded, so I got to make sure that that's ready to roll.
Did they do any sort of backwards compatibility with that on the PS4? No, they didn't, right?
I don't think so, at least not to my knowledge.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
If they did, then PS4 it is, but if not, I'm going to have to literally break out the PS3 and have that hooked up for the month.
It's also available on PC as well, too. I'm sure you could pick it up on Steam if that was more to your liking, but I feel like those games are definitely controller games,
Oh, yeah.
Have you played any of the other BioShocks?
No, sir.
Good shit, man. They are they are good. The first one for me was a jaw-dropping experience. Very memorable. I have to admit my memories of the second game are not as vivid, but I do remember the game being well done. But the first game is just like, it's just an experience, you know?
I've heard nothing but good things, and I know Bree, Joe's wife, actually has, I think, a couple tattoos, or at least one from one of the games.
I believe so. Yeah, I think she has a big daddy and a little sister. Is that what they called them? It's been so long since I played. Yeah,
that's pretty cool, though.
Yeah. They're those things are badass, man. So yeah, we're gonna give it a shot. So again, if that's something that sounds like fun to you, best way to connect with us regarding that is join our Discord room. If you're not already in there, there's a link for it in the show notes. Of course, you can always go to our website, www.wdgrpodcast.com, and look for a link for the Discord room there as well, too. Come on by, say hello, chat with us, and play BioShock Infinite with us. It's going to be really cool. I don't know what we're going to do next month. You know, I think we're just kind of taking it, month by month right now. But it's a good way to kind of revisit some older games. And, much like a book club, it's a BYOB affair. But bring your own BioShock. Yeah, man. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it.
Bring your Sunny D.
Bring your Sunny D. Excellent. So that's our list of topics, Will. Anything else you want to bring up before we wrap it up?
Don't bring your Sunny D because it's terrible for you.
That stuff's gross.
It is gross. I remember drinking that when I was younger, here and there.
Remember?
But, it's excusable then.
Do you remember those commercials? Soda, purple stuff, Sunny D.
I do. That's back in the day where you would take like the Minute Maid fruit punch and just drink it straight out of the carton.
Yeah.
And then when you get older, you look at the sugar content, and you're like, oh, what was I doing? Like, how am I alive?
Pretty much, man. Pretty much.
It's frightening. But hey, I'm still here. I don't have diabetes. And yeah.
Good news. That's good.
Yeah. So that's all I got, man.
Yeah. How can they find you on SoundCloud?
SoundCloud.com/Will_Gear. I have a new track that I made last night. So check it out.
Did you upload it already?
Oh, yeah. I uploaded it last night, sir.
Oh, shit. I didn't see... you usually drop me a link. I didn't see it.
I probably forgot.
Oh, damn you.
It was late, and it was funny because I was like, Lauren, I'll be down at 8 o'clock, and then it was 9:50. I'm like, hey, you ready to hang out?
She's like, bitch, I'm ready to go to bed.
She's like, it's like well past 8, and I'm like, yeah, I know, but I got a track out of it, and I was not even supposed to create one. I was just testing out a sound, and I was like, you know what? I like where this is going, so I got to finish it.
That's how it happens, man. You just get going down this rabbit hole, Mm-hmm. You can find me on Twitter at ScienceStorm, complaining about various bullshit and whatever, and lamenting Mondays, like Garfield the cat. Of course, we're on all forms of social media at WDGR Podcast. That's at WDGR Podcast, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And of course, our website is www.wdgrpodcast.com. Look out on Twitter for the March Madness Finals. Please take a moment to vote. It'll be a pinned tweet on our page. And we really appreciate all the love and support that we've had for the March Madness thus far. Make sure you vote for Zelda. If you don't, I will murder you in your sleep. Yeah, that's it. So I guess that'll do it for this week. We'll see you next time, everybody.
Take care. Bye.